Hey guys, what's going on? Ted here. It's Friday, January 22nd, 2021. Thanks for joining me. So, the strain that we found in the UK a couple weeks ago, now Boris Johnson came out today and says there's some evidence that the new COVID variant may be more deadly. This is what I told you got to watch out for. Now, once again, I'm not a virologist. This could be fear mongering or this could be true evidence. We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out statistically and find out. The evidence is still at a preliminary stage and is being assessed by the new and emerging respiratory virus threats advisory group, which advises the British government. The variant discovered in the UK and known as B117 has an unusually high number of mutations and is associated with more efficient and rapid transmission. So, this is the same one. It's in the United States, and they're warning that there's some evidence. The new COVID variant identified. British Prime Minister, we've informed. I'm trying to find. Okay, here it is right here. If you see my mouse, it may be associated with a higher degree of mortality. So, now we just have to wait and see how the evidence plays out. If that's real, that's something to be worried about. Because right now, like we've talked about many times, the evidence doesn't support the actions that they've taken so far. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. Is it more fear mongering or is it real? Be careful, keep your eye on it. More reasons to get ready though is if that's there and it comes here, they're probably going to want to lock us down again and put more mandates in place. Or if it's real, you possibly might want to avoid being in a public situation, say a big box store, out shopping with other people who really have this and think that it's not real. And I'm not saying it's real or fake. I'm saying let's see the evidence and see what happens. And speaking of evidence, is an article right here about California keeps key virus data out of public sight. And if you go down, I'm just going to read a little bit. California Governor Gavin Newsom has from the start said his coronavirus policy decisions would be driven by data shared with the public to provide maximum transparency. But with the state starting to emerge from its worst surge, his administration won't disclose key information that will help determine when his latest stay-at-home order is lifted. So they're not giving out the information to determine when the next stay-at-home order is lifted. And the state health official said they rely on a very complex set of measurements that would confuse and potentially mislead the public if they were made public. So basically, he's saying that we're too stupid to analyze his information and make a decision for ourselves. And I don't think that's the case. I think they're trying to hide something. And me and you are plenty smart enough. If you tell us the truth, we can make well-informed decisions. We don't need this bald-headed bastard telling us what to do. Just saying. Give us the information. Stop hiding. And today, third day of consecutive executive orders. These ones supposedly, this article spins it to be a good thing. And it's easy to see how people would think this is a good thing. Because there are definitely children and families and people in need, and some of it looks like that, and it's all about food stamps, the SNAP program, giving more money to those people that are on those programs. But you have to know, where does that money come from? And just like we talk about all the time with the stimulus, the UBI, where is the money going to come from? He's executive ordering all these programs in, so they're going to print. That ultimately devalues every single dollar in your pocket. Every hour that you go to work and you get paid for whatever your hourly wage is, every single one of those dollars is worth less for every one of these programs that he expands and adds to. Not to mention this one right here. You got senior Democrats drafting a plan to give parents $3,000 per child in a Biden stimulus. And if you go on to read the article, it says, under one draft of the plan being discussed, the IRS would be tasked with depositing checks worth $300 every month per child younger than 6, as well as 250 per month for child's age 6 to 17. That would amount to 3,600 over the course of a year for young children, as well as 3,000 a year for older children, officials said. Okay, so now they want to give you a check every month over the course of the year. But let me just continue on. Unlike the stimulus checks, the Biden administration and the Democratic lawmakers are hoping to make these child benefits a permanent government program that would continue in future years, according to 3 senior Democrats. So, can you say universal basic income? Like I said, 2021 could very well end up being the year that we come to some type of federal universal basic income where every single person gets a check. And these are the starting stages of it right here. And this is socialism. This is how it starts. They target these weak people, the people in need, the most vulnerable. That's where it starts, and then it'll spread, and they'll print and print and print. And like I just got finished saying, that devalues every dollar that you get. That's not good for your economy. And we're already in bad times with all of the job losses, all of the initial unemployment claims that I just showed you guys last night. 900,000 last week. That's almost 1 million people last week filed for initial unemployment claims. There's no wonder they want to try and give out all this money to people. This is the kind of stuff that you need to get ready for, because you don't want to become dependent on that check. You don't want to be one of those 900,000 that gets laid off and becomes dependent on a check from the government. Then you are pretty much forced to do what they say. Take that vaccine. Vote this way. Do this. If you don't, we'll cut your check. And you're dependent on it. That's why you need to be self-sufficient. And in D.C., they brought in all of those National Guard troops to supposedly protect the inauguration for Biden. At the end of the day, they put up fences, barricades, checkpoints, made a green zone, brought in, I've heard numbers up to 65,000 troops, some even more, estimates higher than that. They only ended up with a handful of arrests, and now the guardsmen are being forced to sleep in parking garages. Freezing cold. Sleeping in parking garages, and what really did they do? So now, supposedly, the Capitol Police is under investigation. They kicked them out of the Capitol. That's why they're sleeping in there. Trump offered for them to use his hotel if need be. I thought that was pretty cool, but it just goes to show those people went there to protect whose inauguration, and this guy's still trying to help them out. And where's Biden? Why can't we put up a tent or something for these people to sleep in? But Trump's giving his hotel. And you guys already know, I don't care for either of them, Trump or Biden, but I thought that was a cool story. So here's one we got to be careful for is China. We've already had, as we know, I've made videos about this as well. China, United States tensions has been at all-time highs for a while now because of the South China Sea, Beijing, Thailand. There's a lot of stuff going on. China and India, a bunch of stuff like that. And now China officially authorizes the Coast Guard to fire upon foreign vessels if needed. And the reason we need to watch that is that just brings up the ante a little bit, because now that's another group of people that has the authority to make that decision. And it goes on, if you can go check the article out for yourself. It's on Reuters. And basically it tells rules of what weapons are allowed to be used given certain circumstances. In certain situations, they'll be allowed to use a sidearm. In certain situations, they'll be able to use maritime weaponry. And in certain situations, they will be able to use air weaponry. So that is just a fuse, a lit fuse, really, just waiting. The match is like right there, and the heat is starting to hit the fuse. Like, just be careful, because this, all it takes is, even if it's not a real event, you have like the Gulf of Tonkin type of incidents that set off wars. And we don't want to go to war. I don't want to go to war. I don't want our country to go to war. I don't want to see anybody die over dumb shit. So, anyway, guys, don't be scared. Get prepared. Go out, Don't become dependent on that government check. Be as self-sufficient as you possibly can. And I'll just leave it at that. Let me get a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Be safe.